Well, I think we are now. Let me hit the launch button on Instagram. Instagram's live streams can be really annoying sometimes, but the way they get set up and everything, that's probably why not that many people live stream. You'll see a lot of people live stream on TikTok and YouTube and all that, but it's not as big on Instagram. But that's why it's a perfect opportunity to live stream on Instagram. So I'm gonna do a couple things here. Again, welcome in. I'm Caleb Schulke. I have a consulting business called Ascend, which works with anybody that tries to make money online as a creator or somebody that coaches or sells some sort of digital product. Sometimes even agency owners, depending on the case. A lot of the stuff I have applies to you guys because it's more about content creation, determining your identity and your strategy to go out and like market your stuff to the world. So really, honestly, just anybody that has to create content for their business, which is a very broad audience, but I'd say for the most part, it's primarily men, um, like 20, probably 18 to like 26. That's mainly engaging with our stuff. So if that's you and you've tried business, but you don't really know how to figure out certain problems relating to your content and come up with a clear strategy, this is the right place to be. And not only that, but this is the right call to be in because I'm going to actually break down a content calendar for you guys in this exact call. It's going to be pretty awesome. So I've been tasked to do this. Anthony has partnered with me, but Anthony is not present right now because we actually had to move back the live stream slightly. So he doesn't get to join me for the coffee hour, which is like half the fun. This partly because I had this really late schedule last night, so I was up very late working on some videos that we're gonna release inside the community and some planning stuff. So I texted him at like I think it was like one something in the morning, and I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna have the energy to get on at the normal time, which would have been an hour ago. So let's just push it back. The message never sent. It was sitting on my phone. I was that tired. I never actually hit send. So I woke up with a draft message in my text, and Anthony's like, yo, what's the plan? And thankfully, he is one of the best partners I could have to do this with. So he's very chill about it. But I'm just hosting this to pay my dues, I guess, without him. Kind of stinks, but he'll be on one of the future ones because he just had other stuff to do. Otherwise, it wasn't a big deal for him. But let's get into Instagram tips. I mean, this is a pretty important topic for anybody that wants to like take Instagram seriously and try to sell something, which I find all the time. And I started my consulting business with an older institution that was in Colorado Springs. Shout out to Colorado Springs. But it was called Mission Medical Center, and it was they needed help revamping their social media presence and their website and things like that. So from the absolute root identity of my experience in consulting, I've been working with social media in particular and websites a little bit too. I guess technically you can call them landing pages, but for people that don't know how to modernize them, can be one thing. Like if you're an older business owner, but also most of the time, if you're a creator or if you want to sell something, which you'll see most people have that link in their bio for stuff, how do you do it in a way that doesn't feel salesy and naturally can kind of persuade people and double tap or triple tap them to go through your process? So I understand that this is you guys are gonna have a lot of questions and it's gonna get busy here, but I'm gonna breeze through this probably in like 25 minutes, so it shouldn't be that big of a time commitment for the amount of value you're about to get out of this. And I also then have a content calendar template I'm going to fill out with you guys so you know exactly what to be posting. Otherwise, like guys, if you're just a casual poster, you're just documenting your life and you're just like, you don't have anything to sell or offer, then you don't really need to be here. It's great. I understand you might like my stuff, but you're not going to get value out of this unless you just like hearing me talk. But so for all you guys, I appreciate you being here still, but if that's if you're looking for something else, I'm just mainly going to be talking about how to leverage it for your growth, okay, and to hopefully make money online with something. And it's always important, right? If you're always building your personal brand, you're always going to have the means to leverage that for something, right? Whether it's just having more people show up to the cookout, or you have an actual, like maybe you start a little Etsy side hustle where you sell customized mugs or something like that, right? Like either way, the more people that follow you that engage with your stuff could potentially interact in a positive way, whether you're selling something, right, that you make, or it's just maybe you're doing a fundraiser for your nephew's baseball team, right? And you have a really engaged audience. Well, you're probably going to get a lot of donations. So it really never hurts you to be working on this stuff. So therefore, again, hopefully I've given you guys some pretty good reasons to understand the importance of especially Instagram, because that's the modern Facebook. I would say it's where everything's kind of happening. Facebook's a little bit older generation. It's more for like, I think marketplace is a huge part of Facebook that I use it for. I don't really like scroll on videos. I don't really like do that as much on Facebook, but that's just my style. But let's start with the lesson. I've been talking too long. I also needed my voice to warm up because I had such a late night working on this stuff. So the goal of this lesson is to set up our Instagram to farm comments and direct messages to trigger the algorithm. The algorithm works. Actually, you guys think likes matter a lot, and I hear this all the time with people I work with. Likes don't really matter as much as you think. It might slightly, barely, if anything. And it might be relevant in regards to other things, but likes directly don't really impact how your growth is. It's more of engagement. So think of like people actually commenting, people like finding someone and sending the video, like the share. People reposting your video on their story on TikTok, right? It can be the same thing as just reposting your video, saving your video, things like that. Those are always to like trigger the algorithm that people like your stuff because they want to rewatch it. And a like is just like great, but every video gets likes ideally. Capture attention and direct it into a DM funnel. So that's kind of the next step. Like we're gonna take essentially the interactions that we have, and we're going to send them into our chats, our DMs, to message them and follow up. There's a couple ways we can do that. We'll talk about that. You can either be like automated or you can manually do it. And then finally, build trust fast and convert your followers into leads. So kind of tied in with that, right? We want to be able to take the people that are messaging us and have them on our short list to sell something. Does that all make sense? Does that make sense why we're doing that? So the first part is going to be our profile, the funnel landing page. I'm going to actually pull up my own Instagram so I can show you guys that, first of all, I'm chill like that. And second of all, that I've kind of done the things I'm explaining to you. And I'm not just like being a hypocrite about all of this, because otherwise I can get problematic. Instagram loves like blocking my posts because I post a lot, and I always have to go back and say like it's not offensive, and then they have to review it, and then they have to put it out there. So Instagram, please stop doing that to me. So it just said we removed like one of your posts, and then you'll hear back from us soon, like every time I get on Instagram, but it's fine. Let me pull up my profile here. Oh, I suppose I'm not sharing the actual window. I'm sharing I was sharing the tab, so it wouldn't show when I switched my screen. Okay, look, I got it pulled up here. I have to do it on 2 live streams because I have Instagram and YouTube on one, and I have my community on another. There we go. You guys should be able to see all my tabs now. So I'm going to go to my Instagram. So the first part of this is your username and name field. Keep it clean. I already have my name, right? So that would be like perfect. I usually want to incorporate your name into your username. As you can tell, I take a little bit of inspiration with my username from my name because it's the exact same thing. But if it's not available, maybe you have like a name like Jack Jones or something. That's like probably really common. Just don't put a bunch of like numbers on the end or something. Just make it like Jack and then something relevant to your niche, if this is really an account that's going to be used for that. So like Jack lifts or something like that, which is probably also taken, but like is Jack lift? Yeah, that's like a tool, right? I think anyway. Jack training 101, Jack training coach or whatever, like something like that, right? That's relevant to your industry. But thankfully, my last name is unique, and that's why I decided to stick with it for my brand, because you guys really can't get it wrong except for the spelling, which actually happens a lot. But Shilky is how you pronounce it. So basically, keep your name simple. Name field, just use keywords to rank it in search. what I've seen people do, and I can't do this. The only reason I don't do this is because I'm verified, and it's really a hassle to change. I have to like re-verify my identity. So if you guys are gonna get verified, do it before you get verified, so that way you can have the like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example where it says like Caleb Shilkey, and then people put like a vertical line here, and then it says like um, entrepreneur or like marketing consultant or something like that. So that's kind of like what I'm talking about. If you actually have the like fitness coach or whatever after that name with like a vertical line, I'll show you an example here. I just got my buddies pulled up here. There we go. So he has Alfie Evans, a vertical line online fitness coach. And the reason I was even able to find this guy in the first place to work with was I looked up fitness coach. And because of that, because it's literally in his name, the word fitness, and part of his title, then it comes up in the search results because it thinks it's part of his name. And Instagram actually doesn't really care that much. If you're verified, especially, um, then it might be a little bit harder to change. But other than that, like it does help you get found. See, let's show me all the posts they removed, which they just got relaunched, which is why it has like no views on it currently. But next, our profile picture. We want a crisp photo, a close crop, pro or high quality lighting. Then we want like a smile or some sort of confident look. Sorry, I'm still yawning because I guess I'm still waking up. But you can't see because this is pulsing because we're on live right now. But it's essentially just me in the car, very lit profile picture. Not lit as in like it's cool. I guess it is cool, but lit as in you can clearly see me. I got a nice red leather car seat behind me. I was sitting in a pretty nice car that I had, and I was just smiling. I look confident in the camera. That's really all you want. And then bio framework, I want you to use this proven framework. And I pretty much use kind of a version of it. It doesn't have to be the exact wording, but it's essentially this. I help blank do what result, or I don't know. You can like take any action word here and like replace do with like I help. I'll just show you mine. And then the final part is without what obstacle or without what pain. And I want you to think about like for this part, the pain, it could be like something that other people offer in their service. Like maybe they offer to clean your house, but they offered to do it in 4 hours and they need like a bunch of equipment. So like if you have kids or like if you work from home, it can get very noisy or frustrating. Damn, that was a fire example. So if you do that, right? You want to be able to like sell your service in a way where like, okay, we'll clean your house and we won't bother you. So that person's like, oh, that's a no brainer. Then that aligns even better with what I need. So you've kind of differentiated yourself in that way. Does that make sense? All right. So I'll show you mine. I help ambitious men 18 to 30. And then what they're doing is print money with a coaching brand or community. And then I was running out of characters. So then the like without part, I just turned into no guru BS. So like without the guru, like people feeling like I'm very salesy and like, oh, buy my course, choose my Lamborghini. I don't flex the stuff I have, guys. Like, I guess this is the closest I get to flexing. I'm in Rodeo Drive in a nice suit, but like you kind of expect that of somebody that's making money anyway. I'm not like purposely using like watches and things I have to like. I'm not like here with my gold card. Like, oh yeah, like look at like the platinum card I got too and all that stuff. But like I could do that. I could make all my posts about just flexing, and you kind of want to do it. Like you do need to show your authority in some way, and that kind of helps credibility. But there's better ways to do that, and I'll show you guys when we get to the content strategy side of this lesson, which is the second part. So, by the way, comment if you guys comment. I just turned it on, so comments will be displayed on my WAP or in the community and as well as in the Instagram and YouTube live stream. So just comment and I'll bring it up. So the next thing would be I want you to DM a trigger word to start. If I could stop yawning, that'd be great. I think I actually need coffee because it's kind of ironic that I don't have coffee. So you click the more just to figure out the rest of it, and then DM coach to work on building your system. I just said to work building your system. Pretty obvious, but that's exactly what I want you to do. So you just DM me that, or this takes you to like my community directly, where you guys can work with us. So basically, I'm giving you two options. You can either just click the button, or you can DM me, coach. Ideally, you click the button because then either way, it takes you there, and I don't have to talk to you as much. Which is not like I don't want to talk to you, but I have a lot of conversations I have to have. And so this makes it easier to filter you guys out. People that are just action takers and want to get scheduled. There's like a series of questions to book a call with the agency anyway. And that makes it like way easier. I mean, just to the YouTube, that's right. And then you go from here into our WAP community. And basically takes you to the creator prep school, but obviously you have the option to go click agency down here and you go back up. I'm seeing my end of things. That's why. So you click preview as visitor. So if you guys click on the agency, this is what it looks like on your end. You click get access, and then it'll take you to Calendly, where then you can select like a few. You can answer the questions right here. So that way I don't have to do this all in the DMs, but essentially I have like a script that I'll ask you in the DMs, and it'll kind of be in line with this type of stuff. So you can either have, I would recommend having two options. But I also like I don't use ManyChat as much for my DM stuff. I like to just personally DM. So maybe I'm a little bit wrong for that, but most of the time you can do it either way. So like DM funnel to get the free audit, whatever it's going to be. And usually if you can promise something free, that's going to be better. So I offer I only do this for certain people that I select, but I'll offer like a month. If you work with me for a month, which actually this Jeremy guy that I've been helping that I keep mentioning, I've been doing that with him for a month. So I actually am looking over his own ManyChat system and how he automates his stuff. And we took him from like, he had to message everyone for his dating coaching business. Usually there's a bunch of unqualified like 18-year-olds that didn't have the money to pay for his service. And we put three questions in place to ask them what their goals were and kind of what their income range was. And after that point, he actually had only, so like he had just as much of many people making it all the way through. He had like 86% of people that got that message, get all the way through answering those questions because he promised them a free conversation starters like texting tips guide. So most of the people got through because they wanted that. And then the people that were qualified, which is like 8% of the people that answered the way he wanted them to for the questions, he got pinged on his phone. It would then send them the direct Calendly link to book. And then if they still had questions, he can only respond to those people from there. And it saved a lot of time from having to figure out who was qualified and who wasn't. So just a quick tip there. That's probably the best method to kind of hack that system there. So that sounds like something you guys are interested in like learning about. That's obviously something we're doing all the time in our community. So I just wanted to make that point known that that's an option for you as well. All right, so you've seen this all the time though. You've seen the like DM blank to start and then DM funnel. The link in bio, just use one link. So like a WAP if you have the community or a custom funnel page. I like WAP because it's free, guys. Like I still don't need to use it. There's like funnels that cost like $150 a month, get very complex, but like honestly, I'd rather have you join our community and like work your way up to the agency anyway. So I just push our free networking community all the time, which again, you guys can join for free because we have a mindset course. We're launching like a content creation course in there. It gives you all the network and the resources to get started and to meet people that potentially align with what you're trying to get done. So I just have the WAP community. You can have like a book and audit, join our free community, and then track clicks and adjust based on traffic flow. So as you notice, I actually have a Tello tree page, which is like $4 a month. And it's a deep link. So you know how it took me directly to YouTube? Took me directly to YouTube in a new tab. If I clicked on this, it doesn't usually do that on the phone. It usually will like pop up like a bigger version of this pop up with like the website in Instagram. And so all you have to do is click the X if you don't want to go to my community website. But if you notice through Tello tree, it actually on whatever device you're on, it'll open the browser. And so when I click on this, I'm in a different tab from Instagram. So on your phone, it would actually take you to the Safari app. So the app is called Tello Tree or Tello Page. They're kind of, I think we'll both get you there. but it's like $4. It's deep linking. It's one of the only websites that actually does that, so it's pretty sweet. So let's get into the content funnel strategy. There's 4 types of posts you need in rotation. So I gave you, I guess, like the things I actually call them in the template are different, but I want to make it simple. So you have viral education. So this is building authority. So I call this like the authority side, and this doesn't have to just be education. So it could be you sharing results on like what you did for someone. Like a testimonial essentially. This could be you flexing with your Lamborghini because that's like we're thinking ethos, right? Side of things. That's a way that people connect. And then anything that makes you credible, so it can be having money is a good one, but it's kind of a cop out, I think, when there's other ways to show your credibility. Like I could just show the testimonial clip from a call we had, and that's going to do more than you just seeing that I have money. Showing that I have money makes you want to be like me, which is a good thing to target, but it's not really a good enough target for a mature audience. It kind of just like triggers FOMO a little bit, and that can work, but I wouldn't do it too much or have that be your main source of authority, right? Because then it's like, okay, well, this guy has money, so he probably knows what he's doing, but I don't really have a for sure guarantee that the reason he has money is because of this. Okay, so that's kind of the judgments that go on and the things you have to prove for yourself when you do it that way. So let's go to belief shifting. That's kind of our second one. So the purpose of this is that tackle the why behind things. So you want to break assumptions. So you're gonna explain like why something is the case. So I'm trying to think of a video I just did recently. Like I explained why most people think that they have to post every day. Technically, I actually do post every day, but you don't have to do that. The algorithm is gonna work the same either way. But I just love building up my content, having a constant flow, because it just gives my audience something more to interact with me for. But in terms of growth, there's no real reason you have to post more than like 3 times a week. And so if anybody tells you it's more than that, they're probably lying to you. And so like anybody that has a business that's just trying to grow, they're like, oh, should I be trying to like take 3 hours a day to make content? I'm like, no, you just sit down for an hour, film 3 to 5 videos, and that's your week's content. You don't need more than that to get started. Everything on top of that is just putting more shots into the algorithm to help you go viral potentially, but it's not otherwise going to affect your main growth. Virality is kind of what you're doing like 14 posts a week for, okay? But it doesn't affect how the algorithm sees you. So that's kind of our why. I explained like that process, and I guess I just did it here too. So that's the second part that people need, like a deeper explanation. The third one is storytelling. So you're going to build trust with that. So that can be reels, screenshots, me sitting down explaining how I helped Mark take his stock trading business from 300 members to 1,264, I think, or something like that in like 30 days, which was absolutely crazy. It was absolutely incredible because we just marketed and we used a system of marketing so that he didn't even have to create content. Other people created his content for him. I could explain that later, but it was a crazy story and a case study. And then engagement hooks would be like the last one. Also, I would explain is like a process, right? How do we farm comments and DMs? So that can be reels or Q boxes. Another thing I would add in here would be like actionable. So just like explain what to do. So this can be like interacting, but it can also be like I can tell you how to like a 3-step method to go and get your first client on Instagram. So right, we have authority. Let's just look at these. We have authority. We have the why. We'll just call this like the why. Building trust is kind of our stories. And then finally, we have farming comments or DMs, and we'll just kind of call that as action-based. Okay, so those are the 4 types. We'll work through these. These are going to be relevant later in our content side of it. But then the part 3 is going to relate to comment farming. And actually, Jeremy, the same guy, I just implemented ManyChat. And like, you know how like people kind of do funny stuff because it's like they'll respond to your posts and it'll say like, awesome, just shot you a DM like on a comment because it's an automated system. So people will be like, oh, send me the blueprints for like a nuclear bomb or something like that. And it'll be like, sent it to your DMs. Like people kind of like make fun of that stuff. But actually, that's great because then every time they comment to try to like play with your system like that, then the algorithm will just massively promote what you're doing. And so you kind of want people to like make fun of your system in a little way because it just massively increases the engagement. So you kind of do it on purpose in some way. But your goal is to launch 10 inbound DMs daily without cold outreach. And some of you guys, like some of you guys that are my current clients watching this in the community or just interested members, I've cold outreach to you. I send like 5 to 10 a day on my own, but your goal is also to do it without cold outreach. And I have a system for both. So again, the trigger word call to action is usually the best way to do it. You just use it in the end of your line in the reels, and then people will leave a comment. You'll just take it from there and kind of continue engaging with them. Gosh, welcome everyone that joined on Instagram. By the way, that's huge. If you want the breakdown, comment funnel, and I'll DM you the full system. So like, if the algorithm loves it, if it sees everyone's commenting and then they get a DM, and there's a lot of time on the post because they want to take time. Like the post is still playing and they're like typing out the comment, and that's going to increase the watch time a lot. So then they send you your ManyChat or manual script, which you can have automated, or again, you can just do this. You don't have to pay the like $35 a month if you want to save that. And then the second tactic is called comment laddering. So the first 60 minutes after you post, just comment from your account 3 times under your own post, like a question, an insight, a thank you. This is illegal, not illegal, but like it's against Instagram's terms if you're purposely farming your own engagement, and they're very good at detecting that. So just post from your own account as a comment and just put your own questions in, and then have a few followers or teammates drop comments on it. Don't like make it like your own account to do it, like because Instagram will determine that like you own that account from the same IP address and everything, and they'll like be like, okay, he's just farming engagement. But have your buddies just comment on it. If not, then it's not the end of the world. And then reply to every comment with genuine energy and just say, hey man, I love that. Even if it's a hate comment, what I do is like we had a hater in here last time. I just broadcasted his comment onto my screen, like my live stream here, and just responded to him honestly and directly. I said, I appreciate that. Like, cause he said, never trust somebody who's like talking about how easy it is to make money. I said, that's completely right. Like you should vet everyone. And that's exactly why in that study on Thursday, in that walkthrough, I had like 8 pieces of research with all of the sources attached at the end. So I'm like, I'm going to show you exactly why this isn't even my knowledge. And this comes from other sources that are proven. So that way I'm just the messenger here. And if you think that like I'm a good provider of this information, that's going to be some value there too, even if you never trust me as a person. And so I kind of handle that pretty well, but I just always try to respond to people when I have the time, even if they're positive or negative. And either way, as long as you can not hate on the negative comments, that you can take the higher ground, and other people will realize that, and you'll have credibility because of that for former or future haters. So ask a question in the comments to re-engage. You could say something like, "That's a good take. What's been your biggest struggle with monetizing?" And then the tactic 3 would be like your story funnels. So I want you could run like 24/7 story loops that feed the DMs. So this would be a 3-part story loop. It could be like feeling like you're posting daily but have no sales, and then you could have a poll like yes or like still figuring it out, or you could have like no, I'm good or something like that. And then the second post would be a proof story. So you're gonna share a win, a client DM, or like a visual diagram of like what your process did for someone that relates to this problem. Like we fixed his funnel in just 1 call, right? And ideally, this is a real study. Don't make stuff up. Don't be fake. And if you don't have that yet, then just work for free. I've offered to do that for many people out there. I think, like for example, I just saw Him Fitness. I see you're in here, or you were watching here. I just met with you on a call. I actually didn't get a testimonial from you, so you should really send me your testimonial. But there's a lot of people in here that have gotten free calls with me. So I just take like that evidence and I post what we were able to do for someone or talk about, and that becomes the new like proof, right? The authority It's not me with a Lamborghini. It's me showing my result with a client. And then the third post on the story would be, want me to look at your funnel for free? Just DM me the word audit or like swipe up on this story. And you can do that on Snapchat too, but typically Instagram is more business focused and you're going to have better reach with that. And then just repeat it every 2 to 3 days. So basically, you can do this all in the same day if you want. And then what I've seen people do is just constantly keep this loop up. So like, every day they'll like have the 3 posts. They'll take 3 photos on their camera like during that day, and then the next day they'll just repost the same thing. It'll constantly be like a live story, so people can constantly, every time they click on your story, they'll have that like introduction, but it might be with like different photos, so it looks better and it looks like you're not just like spam posting, right? I wouldn't reuse the same story post, but you can kind of just subtly have that on your main Instagram stories. Ideally, if you can put 3 pictures out on your Instagram a day, you're kind of killing it. So, but again, you can break the pattern. You don't have to do this every day. So, like if you do this every 3 days, just keep the other 2 days just posting days stuff in your life. What I'm starting to realize is like I used to think it was impossible to post on my Instagram story because I was like, what would I post? But it's like Snapchat, guys. Just post anything you're doing. Like I could just take a picture of like my computer screen here and show how I'm doing a live stream. And that would be a good story post. It doesn't have to be a lot, but the stories and the live streams and the reels and all that, the more you use Instagram's features, the more it's going to reward you and see you more as a creator. So especially story posts, that does a lot to remind people because it shows up on the top of your feed, right? Who is having an active and recent story. And that reminds you that that person exists. So if you liked my content and followed me, well, you can be reminded now that I have an opportunity for you. Part 4, we're going to talk about the auto DM system. So this is either manual or ManyChat. Use ManyChat to handle manually. Either works when you're small. So like the example is they comment funnel. For me, it's going to be the word coach. And what happens is I DM something like, yo, I saw your comment. You want me to do a free funnel breakdown? If yes, just shoot me your Instagram or website link and I'll send a Loom video walking through it. Okay. And this is also like something we do automatically in our community and for our agency is like the very first thing we do in our agency. So if you guys are a paying member or something like that, or you want to work with me for coaching, I'll do this manually for you. But we kind of will offer to do this as like an intro offer, but that's kind of our freebie for select people. It depends on if we think you're qualified or not. Perfect after the Loom. So once they reply, so you kind of like have ManyChat delay until you get a response to this message, or they send an Instagram. And a lot of times you can program this with an actual like text box for them to put their Instagram in. And then when they answer that, you can say after the Loom, I'll send a few steps to fix what's broken. And if that makes sense, we can talk about working together. This is pretty awesome there. Boom, high trust sales conversation without being pushy. Sounds like me, right? I actually use ChatGPT to generate this sentence. So, and I've used it before, but you can use something similar to that for your own niche. But obviously it's not going to be a funnel breakdown for you. It might be like, if you want, you can send me your fitness routine or like a screenshot of your app that tracks your workouts, and I will do a free audit for your goals and give you some advice. We can meet on like a 20-minute call, and then I can show you how we like set up a new strategy. And that would kind of be a way on that call to turn it into a subtle sales call. So part 5 would be engagement farming. This is like a daily checklist. So I would recommend, if you were doing as much as possible, try to post 1 reel a day. But I understand you might not have the time for that, or you focus more on content. So we'll just say or greater than 3 reels per week. So that'd be like 30 minutes for each reel. So I think most of you guys, if you actually care about this business, then you can do an hour and a half a week. Like, what else are you doing for an hour and a half a week? You're sitting on your phone, right? So might as well use the phone for something productive. I get people will crap on me for that comment, but I know you have an hour and a half a week. Next will be responding to comments. So just make sure at some point you check in and see what people have commented. You go through and like respond to each one. So that way, it shows people you give a damn about them. And then secondly, it reminds them that they commented on your post. So they might go back and follow up. And then that's 2 comments that you just farmed, which helps the algorithm show your engagement as higher. So the next thing is send a trigger DM. So follow up with those who engaged. So like, again, on ManyChat, you can automate the system. So this could be commenting funnel on a post, but you could also just have, if they comment anything on any of your posts, it sends this. So just to anyone that engages, you want to try to farm. I wouldn't recommend that because then it gets annoying to people. If they leave multiple comments, they're going to be discouraged because it's going to spam them every time. I would just recommend using a keyword like that. Story loops we talked about, so running those like 3 times a week, or 3 times posting, and then running those weekly. So you don't have to run it 3 times a week, but just have the 3 like post system we talked about ready, and go through it weekly. Again, that's just asking them a question, like feeling like you don't have the results, and then you could have an interactive poll. You could share a win, and then show what you did, and then ask people if they want you to do it for them. So again, just a reminder of what that looks like. If you're taking notes, I just hiccup there. That was kind of weird. And then finally, comment on ideal audience accounts. So this is kind of like your cold outreach, which we talked about, being a potential tool. What I'll do is I'll just like DM people that I think I'm in, or would be interested in working with. I'll send them a voice memo and then a Calendly link, and then they can just take it from there. If they want to listen to my message and click the link, they can go ahead and do that. It feels more personalized and gives them something to listen to, and I'll understand my voice and the way I talk and if I'm right for them. And then I can break down more specifically what I liked about their content. And it's really easy to do if I'm in the like sitting in the car when I just got home, or like I'm at the gym, whatever. I can always just be shooting those out to people. Then part 6, the highlights and conversion tools. So here's what your IG highlight funnel should include. First, you want to talk about who you help, what makes you different, and what results you create. This is kind of like your first highlight reel. If you guys look at mine, I actually am redoing all of mine, so I don't have much for highlights. I have a few testimonials and stuff. Let me actually go over there. I have a few testimonials, and then I just have like a video talking about what our agency does. But I'm still rebuilding these videos, so for me, I don't have the best case study of that, but I at least know what I'm working on. So just a video that says like who we are, or like welcome, or just something like that, because the character limits are really small. It's like 20 characters or something. So next would be the free funnel audit, or like a free resource or free meeting link you want to promote. So like free fitness audit for your workout, right? Like we talked about. And then that would be like the second video. You would have that as a highlight. So it'd be like where this our agency thing is. I'm going to squeeze something in there. I'll talk about like what we can do for you for free. Third one would be testimonial. So that way, once they see all that, they're going to go back. I call it client wins. And you can see like, okay, is this person actually going to deliver value? Is it worth me booking the call? And then finally, like we do joining our community, but it can also just be like what to expect from us usually, right? So like kind of where else you can get value from other than just that if you want to still be working with us. So that's kind of the way I would set it up. For us as the community, because it's free, and if you don't want to get value from working with me directly, then you can still get value from there. For you, it might just be maybe like your top performing post, so they can realize that like your Instagram account is putting out good content. And you can like repost your biggest highlighted performing videos on your story, and then turn those into that last highlight reel. So it can be customizable, but I'd recommend usually trying to hit something like that when you go through. I'm doing a lot of talking here, but we're doing great, absolutely great on time and on the system. So again, leave your comments if you guys have anything. Let's go through this last part. The system works because it mirrors the best parts of high ticket funnels: trust, conversation, proof, and clear steps, but runs natively on Instagram. I'll give you advice specific to Instagram. By the way, I mentioned this last time, but if we use ManyChat, most of you think like it's a bot or it's a spam bot and Instagram's going to ban it. There's actually zero evidence the fact that ManyChat hurts your engagement or that Instagram will punish you for using it, because, fun fact, ManyChat's the only official partner of Instagram for stuff like this. And so Instagram won't ban anything ManyChat's doing. So you can feel free to use that as much as possible and know that you're going to be safe to grow. You're not just posting, you're farming attention, you're starting conversations and building an engine that sells for you. Engagement is measured as a percentage on Instagram, and the more that you have people re-responding or re-liking or re-watching videos, and that's going to keep increasing that percentage and see you as a better and better account. Also, why you don't want to buy followers or fake your followers, because your engagement's going to shoot all the way down and you're going to have to rebuild that from the ground up. And now every follower you get is like one, if you have 10,000 followers, then you increased 1/10,000% up, or one, I guess, I don't know what that would be, 1/100% or whatever it is, for 10,000 people. But yeah, so you would, if you have 100 followers and one person joins, then you just increase your engagement by 1% if they're engaged. That's why it's worth having less followers to start, guys, and focusing more on a specific niche. So do not buy or fake your followers. It looks cool, but it's not worth it. And trust me, I've actually done it for accounts in the past, but it doesn't help you. I used to use it for like old drop shipping stores and stuff, but I never bought it from like my personal Instagram. I did have a lot of followers removed on purpose. I paid someone to take out all my inactive followers, and I went from like 6,000 to like 2,000 on Instagram. So I used to have almost 6,500 followers on here, but I removed most of you guys because you weren't engaged. And I'll probably do that again at some point because I care more about engagement than like having the right people in my contacts. The people I care about can just text me. Okay, that's kind of how it works for me. If you run this for 30 days with consistency, it will bring in more qualified leads, warm up your cold followers, and build a wait list for your audits or your community. Pretty common there, right? So with that said, we're going to go into the second part of this, which is going to be the template. Hopefully you guys are still loving this. This is Jeremy's notes from the client call. I think it's this one. Yeah. All right. Awesome. So we're going to go in here and duplicate this. Did I do it? I think I put it right here. All right. So essentially, this is what you want to do. So we have a long calendar here. This says title, by the way, if you can't see that. And this says platform. I guess you can see that one. So basically, how this works is we're going to plan anyone's content from start to finish. Very easy with a formula that makes sense. So what I would do is, like, if you're going to post reels as your main content, I would just do this for your reels. And then after that's done, put your other types of videos in, or maybe you can make 2 of these tables for different, we could just duplicate this, right? And make 2 of these for your short form and your long form. I guess long form would be like your YouTube, or we have like this live stream that gets posted. So it's kind of like a longer video, but let's just say most of these are going on usually Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, like YouTube Shorts, and then sometimes Snapchat. So those are kind of my main platforms. You can just like go through and like put all those in. I'm just doing it here because I want to show you guys how to accurately do it. So I'm gonna fill it out kind of as I go. So that way I can't end this and then you guys are like, well, he never actually gave me the sauce. I'm just handing it out like I'm a waiter. So we have the 4 tactics here we talked about. Attractor, which is the ethos, right? So showing your credibility, showing your Lamborghini, showing why you're the right person and why you have either the expertise or the results that speak for themselves to be worth working with. Theoretical is our next part. So like we said, explaining the why. Why does this work like this? Like showing them that you're capable of deeper level thinking. I'm just holding my Amex card. I don't know why I'm doing that. Showing them, hopefully I didn't show you my credit card number, but showing them why you're capable of higher level thinking and explaining why the things you're doing actually make sense. Narrative is telling a story. Great time for case studies too, but keep attractor, and that can be like a story itself. But narrative is more like, this is what we did for someone, or like, I used to struggle with this. Here's what I changed. Like those are templates for posts. Actionable is more of like, here's the 3-step method to do this, okay? Or this is what you need to do to fix your Instagram. And you're like showing people, holding their hand a little bit through the video. So those are the 4 types I want you to focus on. The pillar is going to be a couple different things. So I'm going to show you, I guess we actually worked on this with Jeremy because he's a dating coach. I'll show you guys what we did with him. We figured out the pillars are 3 things that your brand focuses on. So, and that's going to change every 3 months. And I don't want you to change all three of these pillars, but I want you to kick out the worst ones. That way, the other two are still in place, and people feel like they still know your brand, but it's just refocusing on something else. So they'll feel your slight shift and feel like your brand is developing, but it's not going to be, you're not replacing all three pillars and getting rid of your brand completely. You might just be tailoring the other two. So what we decided is in dating coaching, the three biggest are your confidence and mindset. So like, how is your energy, your self-image, your kind of masculinity? Next is your conversation skills. So like, how are your openers, your flirtation? How are you dealing with awkwardness? And then the third part is appearance and looks maxing. So like, how do we physically help our appearance? I thought I would stop yawning at this point, but I apparently haven't. So basically, the way I determined that with him was this is all internal. This is what I can control in my head, and like what goes into my confidence, right, and my ability to see and process the world around me. This is like, let's just go to this one next. This is my physical. So we just covered the mental. This is the physical side, what I look like, and that's kind of, you need both of those things to be attractive to another person, to have a good connection and a good relationship. And then finally, we have to cover the actual interaction between you two, which comes down to conversation skills. So it can be openers. We kind of added texting in there at the end, but so basically those are the three things. I can fix my mental and physical side, and then I can fix how I engage with other people. And so that's kind of for dating. That's kind of the biggest things you need to fix. So we went back and he's actually filling this in. So this is great. He's this is his actual schedule. He just started filling this out for the week. So I'm not going to touch this because this is his, but you can see what he's doing. Put a date on each video, said that it's a reel. And then all he did was take those three pillars and he just cycled them. So he went confidence, conversation, looks maxing, confidence, conversation, looks maxing. And then it cycles through the 4 tactics too. So you have an attractor based. So like attractors, again, sharing why you're worth working with, what your credibility is, what your Lamborghini looks like, all the stuff that makes people want to be like you and to work with you and to have your results. And he shared that for confidence and mindset. So in this case, what would make sense for a video when you just look at the pair of the two would be something like sharing my clients' increasing confidence. So he could, that's kind of obviously a pretty good summarization of this. He's sharing results on confidence. That's kind of like the basic thing. So like now he has to go back and come up with a script, which is like a case study. So like he picks a client he worked with and discusses like if he has any screenshots of like, yo man, this really helped me increase my confidence. I feel way better about going up and talking to women now. Then he's obviously going to have basically this piece of content covered. Go to the next one, theoretical, explaining like the why behind something in conversation and texting. So why you suck at texting. Okay, that's a great video topic and it's very trendy. It's a good title. It's going to probably do really well. So he's just cycling that stuff out, but essentially that's what you do if you're at that point. As you can tell, my actual clients are using this stuff, guys. I'm not just BSing this. So that's kind of my attractor content right there. Yes, appreciate you being in here, Stevie. But this is going to be a great video. You can just watch it in the recordings, by the way. I'm going to have this on YouTube. This will be like a live in YouTube. So feel free to just watch that again, too. It'll be you just go to the lives, like video tab instead of my videos or my shorts. And lives will have this as well if you like the YouTube style, but it's probably better honestly in WAP because this is like the full screen. On YouTube and Instagram it's displaying in like short form mode. So appreciate you being in here, Stevie. You're a huge part of our community. A great coach. He's a basketball coach, by the way, so if you need services like that, hit him up. He's the man. So basically what I do is these are my 3 pillars and I'll just give you mine because 100% honesty here. So my 3 pillars with consulting are content and strategy. The next one is monetization and offers, so showing you how to monetize and how to like get paid to do what you do. And then finally, mindset and identity, how to become like somebody worth listening to and be influential. So those are the 3 things my videos talk about. And then I have the 4 categories. These aren't going to change for any niche. So you could be a basketball coach like Stevie. You could be a consultant like me. You could be a fitness coach, you could be a stock trading coach, dating coach, you could be a life coach, whatever it is, you're going to keep these 4. I don't want you to change these. And then these are going to change, like we said, quarterly. So like let's say 3 months from now, because I want you to keep the strategy. Otherwise, your brand doesn't. If you're changing these all the time, your brand doesn't have a clear voice, and people then won't follow you because they don't understand if you align with what they like. And then over time, it's fine to change that voice, but then kick out the worst one of these. Don't change all of them, like I said, because if you kick out all of these, then my brand is nothing like it was before because my posts aren't lining up with these three pillars. So if I added something like I don't know, coolest locations to live at or something like that, which wouldn't really make sense. And I'd be like, oh, here's the Miami apartment I have. This is like life around Miami and stuff like that. Then that would be like, I guess it would be a tractor, but it would be kind of a crazy change up from like the other content. That would be like, why is this guy just talking about like places in Miami? Like he isn't really like focused on his core content. So like you can kick out one of these and replace it with that, but you still need the other two to back it up. You can always retailer these two. Like you can kick out mindset and replace it with like conversation tips for like clients, right? How to have better conversations. And I focus less on like your mindset and like what you think about. I like mindset a lot though. And then you can just tailor these instead of content and strategy. It could be like strategic planning or something like that. So kind of similar, right? But it's that's probably the best way I would tailor that. And then all I do is I just fill that out. So I do all my reels first. So like these would all be reels. And then when I'm done with this entire calendar, I'll just go to the bottom and I'll hit new page. And then this would be like a blanket idea for like anytime I'm going to do. And I have this on a separate rotation. So I'd go back to the first one, content and strategy. It'd be a tractor. And this is why I'd recommend you use two of these templates because that way it doesn't get all mixed up. But if you want it in the same week, it's great. So I had this. This is going to be my long form video. So I'm going to do YouTube and I'm only going to put out one YouTube video this week. So it's going to be a video and it's going to be next Saturday, let's say. And so I know the video's got to be on a tractor on content and strategy. So I need to, let's like a YouTube video idea, like long form would be like sharing my biggest client wins on Instagram or something like that. Or like how the best client testimonials I have on Instagram or something like that. That could like show people the attractor of like what I did or why I'm credible for content and strategy. And that would be my long form video. Okay. So just YouTube. You can actually, there's a space here if you want to attach the video, you can just upload it here if you want it all organized or like to document that you did it. But the best way, I don't really use that. I just, I actually took this template. I made this on my own and I kind of retailored it from something else that existed. But you just change it from idea to either scheduled, if you use Opus Clip to schedule it, or you just hit published and you're done. You can see it's green. You don't have to worry about that. But then you just work through all of these and come up with like, it's very easy now, guys. We did all the hard part and the hard part was really just setting up a template. Now we know exactly what we have to do. And so if you ended the week on theoretical, or let's say theoretical and like monetization, then you know the next piece of content for Monday, when I restart planning, I'm going to delete all of this and I'm going to move narrative and mindset to be Monday's post or whatever it is. You see how I do that, right? So you can just keep this flow going. And then you just look at, again, like ideas. So like mindset and identity narrative. So like how I can say like, ooh, this is the date. That's why. I can say like how one mindset shift made my clients 10K or something like that. Like that. So mindset, I'm telling a story. It's narrative. That aligns with that. Guys, I came up with the idea in like 5 seconds because it's very obvious when you know the topic and the subtopic. And how you're going to, like the topic and what strategy you're going to tell the video with. Now, guys, it's very easy. Now I know exactly how to write the script because I can look through my testimonials and find a client that I know made 10K and talk about like what I explained to him, and I can turn that into a case study. I guess that's also kind of a tractor content too, but typically narrative could be something else too, like how I personally transition myself and my mindset to focus on my business and not get distracted by other things, right? So that could be like a story as well. But that's basically the template. I guess I need to send this to you guys. This will be in the community. We'll also, let me see if I can drop a link for it in the in the, I think this one's, no, this is my template. I wanna send it live so you guys that are in the live stream and about to dip, there we go, can have access to it. So share. We're gonna publish it right here. I'm gonna copy the link. It's gonna go in WAP right now, and then it's also gonna go in Instagram. I don't know if it'll let me post it. There we go. I think it just let me post it. So you can take that and you can run with it. And on YouTube, it'll be attached in my community. So just join the free networking community and it'll be there. That was a crazy lesson. So we went over the exact content strategy here. And what it does, guys, is let me show you mine. So once you fill out all the videos, up here in the calendar, it'll display as like what you have to do each day. So you can like see, okay, mindset and identity is already published. I got that done. We're here, so like vlog video. That's what I have to do later. I have to work and publish a vlog. We did coffee hour. Okay, that's still an idea. We're still working it out. I didn't update that. I already had it published, or I already have it working because I'm doing it literally right now. But you can see kind of the videos I've already marked off for the week, and then obviously just reset it. So the other things we talked about, we went back to my Notion and we talked through the engagement and how to increase it on Instagram. How do we set up our bio to look professional? How do we create a clear call to action? How do we talk about the 4-post style tactic strategy that we just went through in the posting calendar? And then finally, what questions do we ask? How we can use stories to boost engagement and to create a flow of new clients? How to automate basic messages to get people to engage in the DMs with you? What types of posts you should be working on creating? And finally, the types of highlights you should have to keep your credibility up before people book with you. And that's about it, guys. This is going to be a full video on YouTube and on WAP. Hopefully you got something out of this. I'm going to go ahead and post it after this on YouTube to watch. It'll be clean cut. I'll keep all the pauses and silences out, and you can take it from there. But if you guys like where this is, go ahead, join our free community. You know, I wouldn't recommend you go and pay for our stuff yet unless you really want to be in a strong network of creators and you want to have a full course that breaks down all of this stuff for you. Other than that, I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great rest of your weekend. Or if you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe and watch this stuff later. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care.